Sorry, my English is not that good, but I wanted to make this video in English because I don't see any Spanish speakers within my algorithm talking about this topic, but I do see a lot of people that speak English talking this topic, and I'm trying to use my best American English here, my best vocabulary words that I can remember to make this video. But I wanted to make this video because I see a lot of people talking about this, and it's about awakening. Like, there's a lot of people right now that are experiencing some type of awakening, and I wanted to share my experience with this and what happened to me and how I process all the information that came to me in a way. So right now, what I see around is a lot of people are having spiritual awakenings regarding religion. Other people have political awakenings, if you want to call it awakening as well. And that's where people are finding out that it's not about the left, it's not about the right, it's not about up, it's not about down, it's about I guess us versus them type of scenario. They're calling that an awakening. And excuse that I'm over here with that headlamp and whatnot, but I was actually organizing my car for a trip. But so my spiritual awakening, or my awakening, I don't even know if to call it a spiritual awakening, but I believe it happened a long time ago, like 2022, and I kind of just been ignoring it because in 2022 I actually tried to do something about it. I collected all this information that affected me, knowing everything that was going on, and I didn't just want to like let it be and not do anything about it. So I did a lot of crazy stuff to the point where I lost my house, trying to make a difference. So I didn't want to make the same mistake. So from 2023, I guess you can say, to right now, I was just trying to get back on my feet. Kind of like, I don't know, just get back on my feet and ignore what had happened. But there's been, and I don't want to put one and two together, but I do have to point it out that ever since this guy, Charlie Kirk, died, it's like, everybody felt some type of way about it. Not necessarily. No, I'm not trying to, like go into that topic regarding what happened to him or anything like that. But something did happen, and it triggered a lot of people. I guess it triggered their awakening. So now we see social media being flooded, at least my algorithm being flooded with tons and hundreds, thousands probably of people like that I see scrolling down, talking about their spiritual awakening. And a lot of y'all are having mental breakdowns. Like, I see a lot of people in my news feed while I'm scrolling down, screaming, crying, yelling, just having a complete mental breakdown about the system that we live in, how tired you guys are about working, how it just doesn't make sense, the reality that we live on, that the rules that we need to follow. You guys, a lot of you guys, I see that you guys are, going, I don't want to use the word desperate, but more like, malfunctioning. I don't know if I pronounce it right. Again, I apologize for my bad English. But you guys are having a mental breakdown, and I think we all been there to certain levels. Some people cope better with that type of information, but sorry, it's just being outside here. It feels like somebody's about to sneak up behind you. And just like feel the presence of someone. But okay, so my experience, so I don't go too much around the bush, because I was feeling there. I was there. Just a couple of weeks ago. I had to make a decision, but I was feeling there. I don't want to use the word depression, but I was really unmotivated. I didn't want to go to work. I still want to go to work, but not in the same way. But the only place that I would actually feel some type of joy, some type of peace, will be back home with my family, my kids, and I run my own business. And I started doing something that I haven't done in a long time, which was, pretty much, when you own your business, you don't work 9 to 5, you work 9 to 24 hours. You're always on the clock, on call, pretty much, especially the type of business that I run. But I started to ignore calls. I started to, just like after 4, I clocked out and go home, and it kind of helped me um, process all the information that I was getting, because, and this is the part that I don't know if you guys got that already, but within my spiritual awakening, I went to this place called, that I like to call, the void. What's the void? The best way I can possibly explain this is, look at it this way. And I try to make a AI video trying to explain 100% how it happened to me, but pretty much for consecutive days, if not weeks, probably, I was just spacing out during work, especially while driving, before going to sleep, while eating, taking a shower, pretty much everywhere. I would just space out, and I would directly be like lifted, transported in my mind, obviously, to the edge of reality, in a way. In the way that it will happen, in the way that I try to make a video, but unfortunately, you spend like $20 for an AI video generate AI video, and it didn't look anything like how I try to make it look, so I can give you guys a pretty good image. But just imagine this: you're driving down the, you're driving back home. It's a long drive. I usually drive back home more than an hour. So during this drive back home, you're just processing everything that you just saw that day in TikTok or social media, and you're seeing all the wars, WAR, people getting killed, how this country is so separated, everything that's going on all over the world, and and you're seeing this, scrolling down the videos, scrolling down. You're pretty much only probably staying like 10 seconds on each video, and you're scrolling down. You're not giving your body time to process all this information. And the topics that you choose to stay on, I've seen a lot of people having a spiritual awakening, but they're stuck in one topic, and sooner or later you guys are gonna break. And I've seen that happen a lot with a lot of these TikTokers. When this guy Charlie Kirk, what happened to him, I saw a lot of people going into social media talking about like religion, like Christianity and all this other stuff. Now I see them, and it's like they're so unmotivated. It's like they're there, like they're not allowing themselves to move on to the next one. Because the way it happened to me is like, and I'm trying to go back to the topic. You're driving back home, and you're spacing out. It's like you're getting sucked out of your body. Your soul's getting out of your body. You're floating, above your truck, and I know this sounds pretty dangerous because you're driving and your mind is somewhere else, but you're floating. You see the sunset, you see the mountains, and you see kind of like, almost like you're like flying above, pretty high, and you get to see the world in a state. You can see what's happening in that side of the world. You see what's happening in that side of the world. The protests, the conflicts everywhere. So you zoom out a little bit more. Now you're into outer space. Then you zoom out. You keep zooming out. You keep zooming out. You keep passing through all these different universes or realities. You pass through hell. You pass through heaven. You process everything. Boop, 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 till you hit the void. It's like you hit the edge of space, or the edge of reality, in other words. And no matter where you turn, you're faced with like this sphere floating in front of you, which is the reality that you're trying to avoid in a way. But you can avoid it. Everywhere you turn, it's always gonna be there. but you're in the space of reality, the space of in the space, you know, I call it the void. And I try to make an image where it looks all it's like floating into outer space, and you can choose to where it's all black, you know, dark, or you can choose where it's all white, either one. And in my trips there, you know, my trips spacing out, just being there, I talk to other beings that are there, and not necessarily they have a face like a human face. You don't even see, like, you know, you can see your hands or whatever, but they don't look like human hands anymore. It's like you're kind of like in the spiritual world. And again, this is all happening in your head, your imagination, but this is how I was processing this, you know. And what I got from this experience is like all these things are happening, and there's so little that you can do about it. Your brain is gonna try to, you know, build some walls, build some type of protection so you don't go crazy. Because you know, you go to TikTok and you see the videos that people are talking regarding, you know, this awakening that they're having, and one thing that they're repeating one after the other is they don't want to be alive anymore. And not necessarily they mean that they want to unalive themselves, but they don't want to be part of this reality. They don't want to be alive. It's almost like they're choosing. If they could choose to not exist, they would choose that option. And you're at the edge of space. Like, my journey was, you know, the process, the way that I process all this information, because I spend time, you know, listening to religious people. I spend time, you know, listening to scientists, if you want to put it that way, the voice of science, the voice of religion, the voice of politics. I even tried to revive a movement that I had going on a couple of years ago in the 2022, trying to make this non-profit with the goal of making a self-sustaining system, because, you know, I wanted more free time. I too believe that, you know, this is crazy the way that we live in. With the technology that we have now and the resources, we shouldn't be living the way we do right now. I have chosen to leave the U.S. We're in the process of, you know, getting everything organized. So in a year or two, we're ready to go. I did wanted to stay here because, you know, I've been here most of my life, but at the beginning I thought it was a matter of just, like, you know, fighting for what you believe is worth fighting for. But there's something really weird going on here. And based on the experience that I have and all these episodes where because I'm still going there. Like, every time I drive, I get taken to this place, to the void, and it's now like it's just instantaneously. Like, I'm not interested in all this politic talk, religious talking, if God exists, or if God doesn't exist, or, you know, if this is the right religion, that's not the right religion, or, you know, if this is wrong or this is right. Like, it's not like that I'm not interested, but I'm not attracted to it. Like, automatically, naturally attracted to those things. And just in a question of moments, I get flown through all these layers of reality, and I'm there. I hit the edge of reality where it's empty, and there's like this floating sphere, ball of energy in front of me, which is the reality that we all live. You know, within this ball of energy, there's layers and layers of, you know, the multiverse, or whatever you want to call it. Just go at the edge of that, and the more you think, it's like you're there at the edge, and you're thinking, observing, and it's like more layers are being added to this ball of energy, and you see around this ball of energy, and all you see is space. Like, there's room for more, and you can, like, walk backwards and keep an eye on the energy, and you'll see it kind of like spacing out, right, into like, just spacing out, spacing out, spacing out. But at some point, you're back right in front of it, and you can, you can try. There was this other moment where there was this other beam, and I was like, hey, okay, go in front of me, and you're gonna be facing, like, behind me, and I'm gonna be facing towards, and let's see if that works. Let's see if we can turn away, if I can turn around, and like trying to, like, but it's like you're stuck in this place where there's mirrors, like everything's being reflected, so it doesn't matter if you're looking that way or this way. And it's kind of, I wish I know more about geometry, because I think I would understand how that place works. But it's like you're in a place where there's mirrors everywhere, and everything's just being reflected right into the center. And the void is almost like tangible, like you can almost like touch the edge, but you can't touch it, but you feel like you almost feel like the edge is always right at your back. And it's crazy, but within this space in time, if you want to call it, in my head, there's this other supreme identity, being, energy, however you want to call it, source, that is almost like is the void is this. It's like almost like if the void is conscious in a way. And I would like to say that at that moment I believe that's God itself, and that's how it works in a way. And it's like, what, I'm not going to this life. There's this guy, it's called a good creator. He's always sending me invites to go into his life. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna try to share this with him, see what he thinks. He's a interesting guy with an interesting group of people. But you know what? This identity, in one of my conversations with him, or with Ed, you know what he said when I was trying to, like, so kind of like process, like, okay, so I just went through all those layers of reality, and I kind of wanted to ask the question, so what's the point of all this? You know what he answered me? Oh, you know what, I probably just answered myself, because this is all happening in my head, right? But I'm choosing to share this because in a way it's helping me process everything that's going on, and I'm back in my feet in a way. Like, I'm full of energy. Well, not necessarily full of energy, but I'm taking it one day at a time, and I'm trying to see where this takes me. Like, I kind of want to learn more, but I feel like being there, having access to this space and time, I have more of an open mind, or a better grasp to actually process all the information that I choose to get myself into, but not get stuck. I don't want to get stuck in conspiracy theories or anything like that, like just waste my time arguing with people. That's not me. I don't want to be spending time doing those things. I wish I can create a group of people that maybe have similar experience to what I'm talking about. If you feel like you want to share anything with me, I might start doing lives if this video gets enough traction, because but you know what the beam told me when I was like, so what's the point of all this? And I didn't ask it like angry. It was more like a emotionless question. There was no anger, there was no emotion on it. I was just like, so what's the point? Like, what's the point of all this? So his answer was, just try to enjoy it. Didn't necessarily say there's no point or this is the point. The answer was just try to enjoy it. And again, this is all happening in my head. Okay, don't take it serious. Don't think it. There's people that hear videos like this and they're like, oh, prophecy or whatever. It's all happening in my head, and I'm just sharing my experience. Hopefully, it helps you process what you're going through. Thank you for listening.